Hey, I'm Nate Flax.
I'm Noah Longworth McGuire.
And this is Talking Lion.
Talking Lion is a podcast focused on artist-to-artist conversation.
We're primarily artists, a duo called Sleeping Lion, but we've been lucky enough to write, produce, and hang out with so many incredible rising artists since we started our project.
Whether it's at sessions or parties or over cups of coffee, we've talked with our creative friends about everything. Music, life, love, and all the subtle complexities that come with being in the middle of a journey.
Talking Lion is about hitting record on these conversations and sharing them with you. There's no real structure, nothing really prepared, just friends talking about life and what it's been like and where it's going.
We recorded this episode with our longtime friends, Leisha and Seán Behan.
We first met Seán a few years ago following a Jack Garrett concert in New York City. This was right around the time we were all starting out our projects, so we would swap Sleeping Lion and Leisha demos. Though he and Leisha lived in Ireland, we became fast friends and we talk often.
Some context for this interview. We recorded this remotely while they were in Ireland and we were in LA, splicing everything together afterwards. Leisha had just released her EP Mad, and they recently played Lollapalooza in Berlin.
We've also had some collaborations with them as well. Noah mixed their song Rich, and we did a remix of their song You. A quick content warning. In this episode, we talk about eating disorders and self-harm. If you or anyone you know is currently experiencing this or recovering from this, we encourage you to seek help, and we sincerely support you in your recovery.
Kind, hilarious, and full of energy, Seán and Leisha were some of our first real music friends, and it's been amazing to watch them rise over the years in the Irish pop scene.
So,
Without further ado,
I'm Leisha.
I'm Seán.
And this is Talking Lion.
well, hey.
Hello.
What's the crack?
We this is a special Talking Line episode 1 because you guys are amazing and we are friends and have been for a while, but also because this is the first time we've done anything remote.
Yeah.
I know.
So we're just gonna see how it goes.
This is gonna
It
be
is
fun.
nice. You're across the pond. Or we're across the pond.
Yeah, well,
Which one
it's
is
roughly 2/3. Well, I think the pond is
I think
there.
the pond is
we're
relative to
across
both
each other's
parties.
respective ponds.
We're both, yeah.
it? Yes. We're both across the pond.
What area of Ireland are you guys in again?
We're in Dublin right now.
We're in Dublin, so
Yeah,
like,
but I am from Galway.
Yeah, I'm from Dublin. It's the capital.
Yeah.
Leisha's a country gal.
Yeah.
Got you. How have you been so far? We talk and text every once in a while, but Liz, like, how are you? What's new?
Yeah,
We're good. We've actually like sort of been on a bit of a writing buzz for the past like couple months. Leisha just finished her thesis, so
handed that baby right
Yeah.
in and said never again.
like after that it was sort of like, oh my god, songwriting.
Now I have
Class.
just
We
nothing
can
to
just-
do but to talk about my feelings for the rest of my life.
Woo!
I mean, that's pretty much
Yeah.
where we're at. Yeah, I figure
Yeah.
we got enough
Yeah.
feelings to last us however long this thing's gonna go.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
I remember last time we talked on the phone, we just talked a bunch about like songwriting and just like chopping away at the thing, just writing
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day. But it's crazy. I was trying to do the math of just how long we've known each other and how bizarre that we keep running into people that we both know. Like the last 24 hours,
That's because
Yeah.
we're Irish.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
It's a
We're
small
fairies.
island, right?
We leave dust and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
imagine,
good.
like, I think,
So
no, yeah, go
like,
ahead.
So just like I suppose we'll like tell the story of how you met.
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Cool thing. Yeah. So
Is that a cool
so
thing?
I basically was over in New York City for a summer, just like on a grad visa, or maybe it was actually the year before that.
The city
I
being
can't
New York
remember
City
the
for,
year, but
for
you
anybody
guys might
listening.
remember.
Yeah.
You were visiting. You were just visiting.
Yeah. But we were both, or no, all three of us were at a Jack Garrett gig, and we're all like super fans.
And you
it
guys thought
it
that Seán
it was
was
a
Jack
great
Garrett.
gig.
Yeah. Side note, we definitely
I-
thought you were Jack Garrett for like 1 second.
That's the only reason we talked to you,
yeah,
and
that's
here
the
we
only
are.
reason But we were all like buzzing, so we all sort of like hung about and just like were waiting to see if we could like meet the infamous Jack, which we did in the
We
end.
did.
But we like also sparked this fantastic relationship.
Yeah, we all had pizza together, and I
Yeah.
find that in New York, if you have a pizza with somebody, that's a lifelong
pizza.
friendship. Yeah.
I forgot about the pizza.
How could you
How
forget
would
about
you
the
forget
pizza?
about pizza?
Yeah.
Don't say that to me.
I completely forgot about it because like
I'm questioning
I
our
was,
friendship
I was
right
in
now.
a whirlwind. Yeah.
Well, you were like, I'm making music with my
said
girlfriend. Like, I'll
whirlwind.
show it to you when I get back. And I was like, yeah, sounds cool. Like, let me know. And then
Yeah.
we were more or less
Oh.
internet friends for 2
Actu-
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because actually that time that I met you was like the time when we had just started writing songs
We had
together.
just started the project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
in
you
So,
came
like-
out like
Project
6
meeting,
months
Yeah.
after that or something.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Which is-
Oh my
shit,
god.
yeah, so-
yeah. So we were just writing a lot then, and then they were songs that I had taken from when I had written them in school, which was secondary school, which would be high school to you, and then I brought them with me to college, which is university for people in the UK. I'm trying to make this way too Mr. Worldwide. But yeah. So then when I brought those songs. I wrote more in college as well, but then we just that's when we started. We had mics and stuff like that, so we started writing and recording more. I guess like just more frequently, and we tried to take it more seriously and tried to actually make things sound good rather than just recording them
Yeah.
and listening to them for ourselves, so knowing that other people would listen to it. So then it just became the project, and then that's when we started releasing. Yeah.
But it was also just like lots of fun.
When did you two meet? Like, where did you guys meet?
We met in this college camp. It's called the Gaeltacht. So you go and you speak Irish there, and we met there. And you're not allowed to speak English to one another. So when
I can't speak Irish at all,
And I'm
or I
fluent.
couldn't at all.
Right.
Like I had, like, can I go to the toilet? And that was it.
yeah, so
And
that's
you
all
aren't
you
allowed
have.
to speak English.
You're
at
not
all,
allowed,
yeah,
or
so-
you get sent home.
Yeah.
So you're in this camp for 3 weeks, and you meet loads of people. And so when I was there, I was more so working there because I'd worked a couple of weeks before then. Then I was back, and when I met Seán, I thought he was too cool for school and didn't want to talk to me. But it's actually then I found out later. He said, "No, I didn't want to speak English because I didn't want to ruin the experience for people whose parents had paid for them to go there." And I thought, "Oh my god, you're just very nice."
Well, it's funny when you
yeah.
visited New York, because we had been like internet friends for about a year and a half.
Yeah,
Before we
yeah.
all like hung out in New York, like in person for the first time.
Yeah.
Like after we initially met Seán in New York, and when I was saying like, what do you do, you know, summer jobs and stuff, you said I teach kids Irish, and I didn't know that was a language. Like it was the first
Yeah.
time, and then you started talking like Irish. I want to say to me, but also a little bit like at me, and I'm like, this is the craziest, wildest thing. Because I'm sure that the people
well,
listening
I
right
kind of
now.
talk at people a lot anyway.
I mean, same, you know, New York vibes. But I think that there are people who are listening to this for the first time who will be learning that Irish is a language. Like I know that that's not necessarily a common knowledge thing. So
No, it's not very well known. Even though the road signs and everything, it's all signs to like places and name places and everything in Ireland. It has the Irish in italics above it, and then in English in capitals.
well, guys,
below it.
say a sentence in Irish so we can all get acquainted with the language.
Okay, is Miss Alicia agus tamen seo can't live. So I just said, hey, I'm Leisha, I'm here and I'm talking to you.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Or to you.
I'm not going to join in on this because I'm just going to be wrong. Yeah.
How would you say sleeping lion?
Leonatá na chola, I guess, or in the chola.
Huh.
Yeah, Leonatá na chola. So I'm basically saying a lion that is in his sleep.
Huh.
Because that's the only way you can say
a
it.
lot
I
of
can't be
steps.
like a sleeping
It's
lion.
a bit of a strange structure.
Or Leona Culla. Yeah,
language.
it's very poetic.
Yeah.
That's-
Oh, it's so poetic.
That's awesome.
I think that's why I got so interested in words and how people talk to each other, because I went through school, both primary school and secondary school, and I learned everything through Irish. So just the way that people would talk to one another, sometimes I feel that I would have a better time giving somebody bad news in Irish, because it's just sometimes it's much softer in one way, and in how
Definitely
you
is.
can say things. It's very metaphorical. So that got me really interested in how words and tone and language, how you can express that differently to other people. So I guess that's probably why I got so interested in songwriting.
Do you think or dream in Irish? And have you written any
Oh my
songs
god, yeah,
in Irish?
all the time. I can't. Even there are some words still that I trip up on,
so
when I'm
funny,
trying to
like,
remember the English. I'm like, I don't know what this is, because it's all I've learned it. I've only learned it in school.
Like
so I
maths
didn't,
stuff.
maths. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like triangle is like so hard for me to get sometimes. I'm like, what's the one? And oh my god. So yeah.
Have you written songs in Irish?
Not
No.
really, no. I mean, when we were in the Irish college, like you'd be encouraged to translate songs like pop songs into Irish. So then that kind of
It could be a really
that
cool vocal
definitely-
chop. Like,
Yeah, that
Well,
it would
that's
be cool.
like lots of like traditional Irish songs are used in like really big pop songs.
yeah, like
James Blake had in that song that he had with Rosalia, Barefoot in the Park, was
That
like
one.
Oh yeah.
that
yeah.
that had an Irish tune in it.
now is that like a country versus city thing? Like, is it more normal to learn Irish living in the country than in, say, Dublin? Or is it just like Sean and never got around to it?
Not really, because there's only like a couple spots around Ireland that are like Gaeltachts, which are like Irish speaking
It's a
areas.
Gaeltacht area.
Yeah.
Where people, a
got
lot,
you.
like families would speak Irish all the time at home. So that would be like very much the West. There's like of Galway. Some parts, it's all dribbled around Ireland. But I think the biggest is Connemara, where I would have gone to teach in the summers. And then there's places in the north as well, in Donegal.
But like there are schools.
Where parents spend a lot of money to send kids over to.
Yeah, well, you see, because
speak
you have to
Irish.
learn Irish in school, whether or not you
Yeah.
whether or not you go to school and it's an all Irish school or not. It's a subject that everyone must take. So it's like that booster so that you can get through your exams and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not a lot of people like it, which is sad.
But like there are Irish speaking schools all around the country. Like there's one just around the corner from me, for example.
Yeah,
like,
and we're not in a Gaeltacht area.
yeah.
Right. Now, growing up, were you guys musical? Were your families musical? What inspired you guys to go down the crazy path that this music thing has taken you?
Yeah, well, definitely for
Definitely,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, because I grew up playing the fiddle.
Oh, wow.
So I would have played like fiddle Irish traditional tunes.
Do you still play?
And then kind of, my fiddle's actually right behind me right now. I've been trying to get it into songs more recently where it doesn't seem forced. That's kind of what I've been trying to figure out for the past couple of years because
Yeah.
it's so different from pop music. What I would have played is so different. Like for me, like pop is quite, it's very well considered and very like blocky, whereas with trad it's kind of like, oh, anything goes, and you're just
Yeah.
all playing together, and it's that communal vibe that where everyone would gather into a pub.
Well, there was that Clean Bandit song that had like a
Yeah,
sort
but
of
that's
fiddly.
so
I know when we
classical. I'm so
started,
not
we were
good.
definitely trying to incorporate fiddle
Yeah,
stuff.
that's just so classical, and
Yeah.
I'm not a classical player. Like it's just kind of like a chill. It's for me, it's a very chill instrument. I mean, not that some people aren't incredible at it and can't like mix both classical and traditional technique together, but yeah, just trying to bring that, incorporate that sort of into the songs is definitely something that's difficult because I'm so fussy and I can't get the fiddle to sound that perfect way that I want it to. But maybe that's what I need.
But you also have a secret weapon now. You're like, okay, how do I grow?
Yeah,
Here's the fiddle.
yeah,
you know, like-
exactly. So
I would really like to incorporate it into live stuff as well at some point.
I'm so scared of playing
But-
in front of people, which is hilarious considering I played it for nearly 15 years and
That's
did
like-
play in
that's
front
fair,
of
though.
people.
It's like
I think
something
it's
that you did as a kid.
as a
like,
kid, I think
it's-
I'm just associating it a lot
yeah.
with like who I was when I was younger, that I feel funny playing it now.
Yeah.
Maybe never thought about it really.
Yeah.
but
your
yeah.
your family is like really musical.
Oh,
and,
completely. Yeah.
Like in the trad world, especially like.
Yeah. No, my aunt she's incredible, and she's released some albums, and like we would have all just played together.
Folk music?
Yeah,
or
both folk songs and traditional Irish tunes, which is really cool. So like, yeah, so I
That's
just kind of like
awesome.
people releasing music, I guess, around me wouldn't have been that big of a deal. They would have just been
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, this is like, even for my parents, there's Sharon Shannon as well, who I love, and my parents would have been like, yeah, this is just our friend, and I'd be like, yeah, cool, like no problem, here's the seat, you know, like I didn't. So I guess then when we just kind of went to go release music ourselves, we were kind of like, screw it, what of it, just put it out and see what happens.
Well, you had seen it sort of flourish around you in a really sort of positive way, right?
Yeah. It was sort of like, it doesn't need to be a big deal, and I think that's why even
Definitely
being
not.
independent has like been really fun.
Did you go to an art school, like a college? I mean,
Yeah, we both went to this course called BIM, and we both did songwriting there. It's sort of like the only like commercial sort of music college that's in Ireland at the moment, and we were like only the fourth year in it. So
because when we saw Sing Street and I like hit you guys out, I was like, oh, here's a movie that takes place in Ireland, and I really loved it. You're like, yeah, we went to school with all of them.
yeah,
Well, it definitely
no.
was not everybody in the
No,
movie.
no.
It was sort of like, I mean, so there was Jafaris in it, who is incredible, and he's super lovely. So we see him like a good bit, which is really nice. And then there was Mark McKenna, who you literally just met this week, wasn't it?
We
Yeah, he was just
in the
in town.
house. Yeah.
how weird.
How weird.
So Mark was also in the same college as us.
Yeah, but I think he was maybe 1 or 2 years below me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at the house. Our roommate was shooting some photos with him, and I said, "Hey, here's a shot in the dark. Do you know the only Irish people that we know?" And he was like, "Yes, we went to school together."
That's how it works.
Yeah.
You just need to know one Irish person and they'll know everybody else.
Yeah.
That's so. And what's interesting is that like I feel we were very much inspired by like Irish movies and songs when we were
Right.
both big fans of Once and
Yeah.
Sing Street and
Yeah.
and even just like hearing like Raglan Road
Damien
and
Rice.
Damien Rice and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that, like
and all that. Like,
so but in a lot of ways it's been somewhat of a challenge to keep our ear to the ground about what's happening there, you know, unless there's, you know, bleed over.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you mentioned Jafaris. Who are people that you're excited about now who we might not necessarily know?
So
There
many.
are so many
So many.
unbelievable people. Like,
For me, my big pop brain is buzzing about Tim Chadwick. Definitely check him out. 80s pop, amazing. We write quite often with one another, and he's only up the road, so it's really cool. So it's like
Yeah.
it's nearly like I could be stuck on a song, and I'd be like, "Hey, team, help!" And then I'm a big fan of Flynn as well. He's incredible. He just did a song with Lost Frequencies, which is really exciting because he's
Yeah.
only just started releasing music. So we're all just looking at him like, "Wow, you go!"
awesome.
But there's
There's-
so many. There's
there's like-
Soleil. There's
there's-
Pillow Queens.
there's this guy called Kojak who's like a rapper who's literally insane. He's like a part of YouTube's like rising thing this
Oh,
year.
wow.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah, right. Well, and
so,
Dermot
like-
Kennedy like came out like sort of is
Oh, yeah,
now
Dermot as well.
blossoming here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very original. I think he's just spent so long mastering his sound and his voice
Definitely,
and everything. And we have a couple of mutual friends who would know him well, and that, you know, they've kind of just told us that that's what he was doing for so long, and then he's just amalgamated all of the music that he loves, but it really does feel very authentic to him, and
Yeah.
I think that's why people are latching onto it so much.
yeah.
Oh, and you can hear the intensity.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. There's lots of bands that are sort of like on the brink of sort of getting
Breakthrough.
outside Ireland at the moment as well, just like Dermot Kennedy has in the past couple of years. Like there's a band called like Picture This who are like, they're really good. Like
Yeah, they're all over Europe at the
Yeah.
moment.
they're like doing so well. And then like there's like Percy like
Fontaines.
Jafaris and Fontaines,
Fontaine
CC, who are
CC,
like
they're killing it.
Right.
they're like touring. They're on Jimmy Fallon, I think. It's crazy.
Well, I just want you guys out here.
Yeah.
Like, we miss hanging
We
so
have
much.
to.
Come
We
to
really
LA.
have
I want
to.
to. Yeah.
I don't know if my little pale skin will be able to hack the sun. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't. The curtain could be half open in my room, and I'm squinting. So I'll just get like permanent sunglass lenses.
Lenses.
We were just walking around the park the other day, and like we both got sunburned by the end
Oh,
of it.
and you're
But
living
that's just
there.
how it works.
Yeah,
You
you,
just
you, you
I'll
get
bring an
used
umbrella.
to it.
yeah, just walk around with a parasol. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
White
yeah, yeah.
one. It'd be so cute.
so like somewhat after we met in New York, you did your first single. What was the process for putting that song together, and why? Because I know you guys were writing a lot. What was it about that song that was like, this is the first thing that we're gonna do?
That was actually because I was given an assignment in college to write a song with just 3 chords, like sort of a homework assignment. And that's when at the time, I loved pop, but it was definitely a guilty pleasure rather than it being a passion. Does that make sense? Because I mean, I was like 18 and cynical, so like I was like, I don't like anything that's on the radio, which is not true now, you know.
But then like quietly, you're bumping Teenage Dream.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I now it has 4 chords, which is
Yeah, it has 4
it
chords now.
developed from the 3.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, Sean. But yeah, so I just had to bring that into. I was nearly kind of taking the piss out of myself by writing it, because I was like, oh, let me write a whole chorus with one word, ha ha ha, and then after I finished it, I thought, oh, I like it. So then we just, that's when we were able to mess around with new sounds and synths and stuff like that. Like we definitely challenged ourselves more in production, in getting that song to sound like a full song with one word in a chorus. So it was like a challenge for both of us in that sense.
And we also basically that was our first time ever working on a song, like to actually properly
We
release
referenced
it.
Jack Garrett massively
Yeah,
for the chorus,
actually
by the way, which is
massively, yeah.
funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's weird.
and
Yeah.
that was like what was cool was that because our sensibilities, like we literally met at the same concert, like our sensibilities
Yeah.
were linked. So I remember around that time, you would send me and Noah demos of what would
Yeah,
turn
yeah,
into
yeah.
the Halfway EP. Like there were all these
Yeah.
songs that were going back and forth. And when we did
Thank you so much for the advice again.
Yeah, you
Oh,
helped
It
us
actually,
so much.
it like
then.
literally helped so much. I learned so much from like just those like emails from like just from like even a mixing point of view or like just I don't know, just
Yeah, I
couple
think-
of
I
different-
came home. I was like, "No, you're writing a novel." He's
Yeah,
"No, I got
like
some
you asked
notes."
for mixed advice, and I just like wanted to like dispel as much knowledge as I could. I think one of my favorite parts about our friendship has been I feel like when we met at that Jack Garrett concert, we like were in similar places and getting into production and being inspired by people like
Yeah,
Jack Garrett. And what's been really fun over the last couple of years is that we've all grown as writers and producers because we're all like shooting towards the same goal. And it's been
Yeah.
really
So true.
exciting to just like, especially I feel like because we've known you a while, like to to listen back to those old demos and be like, yeah, like now we're like we've all like really developed into like we're every day we're like growing into whoever we are, and it's like it's fun to
Yeah.
watch.
Well, and
Yeah,
likewise, like
completely.
from the lyrics side, like I remember you would send me the lyrics. Like I remember the first time I heard Halfway, and you're like, "This is my story. This is what I want to talk about, and here's how I'm doing it." And I remember when I first read, because I didn't hear, I just read Halfway,
Right.
and I'm like, because there's this AAA rhyme, I'm like, it sounds a little bit, the AAA rhyme sounds, has a little bit more of like a nursery rhyme quality to it, and you're like, yes, that's
Yeah, I
what
took
I'm
that
aiming
as a
for.
compliment then, because that was
Definitely.
that was me just coming out of the whole cynical I hate pop. Not that I hate pop, but that pop is a guilty pleasure mindset, and
Too
thinking
cool
that I
for
needed
pop.
to wrap anything I wanted to say in a metaphor and present it that way. Which in one way was sort of, I guess, my way of protecting myself, because it was all about my eating disorder. So I was sort of just trying to wrap it in a way that it was digestible and palatable for other people. Because I guess myself couldn't even swallow it.
'Cause you lead me astray and overstay in forms that I weigh. So eat away, 'cause I'll meet you halfway.
So that was so I really liked that.
You end up talking to my friend about it. Like the song resonated so much that there were people in my hometown who you wound up talking to, because you were able to be so honest through the sort of nursery rhyme vibe of the song. It's like a sweet presentation of something that's very challenging and bitter, which I always thought was really powerful and impressive.
Oh, well, thank you. That's cool.
Of course, Well, you was the first. Well, not, it was like I think roughly the third remix that we did. It was the first I ever sang on. I like.
Yeah,
did
I
this whole-
loved
Yeah.
that. I was like, I hope we talk about this, because I remember
Yeah.
when you sent it back to me, I was like, oh,
Me?
it sounds so sleeping loud.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, so good.
That was really strange to hear it in such a different context.
But that's why remixes are class.
Yeah, so
like
good, like.
we were talking about this the last day with our friend Richie McCourt, who we write with often and who did the most recent EP with us. But we were talking about this where he said, I don't want to just make remixes that are like for the club. He's like, I want to remix a song the way I would like to have heard it, or if somebody came to me and it
Yeah.
was just acoustic and on
Yeah.
piano, that's the way I want to remix it. And that's why. That's why when we were doing it with you, I thought, yes, this is what it's going to end up like,
Yeah,
which is really
yeah.
it's so much more fun.
Yeah, that's very much how we approach all our remixes. It's like Lido had this thing in one of his master classes. He's like, when I hear a song, it's like, and this isn't like this can come across badly, but it's like, how do I fix this? And it's not like, oh, there's anything wrong with the original,
That's
but it's
true.
like, how does my brain want to hear this? And
Yeah.
like
Well,
that's like what we bring to the
Yes.
table.
It's kind of like approaching it like songwriting and production. It's like, okay, if we were given this thing, like if we were just given the vocals, like which in a lot of ways is what tends to happen, like what would we have done with it?
Yeah.
Though I think what was kind of fun about your remix is like the original is so good and it does what it's supposed to do that we were like, oh, we could get experimental with this. I know Noah had just downloaded
Yeah.
Substance.
Oh, yeah.
So the chorus had
cool.
the
Yeah, there's such
you
the
know?
heavy bass.
Yeah.
and then he was experimenting with a layer of having that vocoder. that we're gonna use like it as an outro or something, and I'm like that's it's got like this weird choir
Yeah,
element.
It was beautiful. No, I love it.
so
That got me
good.
upset.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, vocoders lit. Can we
Yeah,
use this
yeah,
forever,
yeah,
please?
yeah,
Hashtag go look it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like that the vocoder gravy train is definitely is leaving the station.
It's leaving the station, but that was prime time for the
it's moved
vocoder.
on.
At the time, and it was like,
although Zara Larson's most recent song is
Oh,
great,
yeah.
and I last week would have said, or whenever before it came out, I would have said no, vocoder's
Yeah.
dead. And then she brought it out, and I go, nah, not dead
Yeah.
for this song.
oh no, and B Miller's single, B Miller's like I just want to feel something.
Well,
I don't know that.
I think vocoders are having a moment in the zeitgeist, which means that forward-thinking producers are now like, okay, what's next? Like they're definitely still in vogue, but like for regular
Yes.
people, and
And
we're
because
just like,
songs take
okay,
so
well,
long to come
this
out.
this isn't gonna last forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's also part of it.
Yeah, that section. Then we were like, how do we get out of it? It was like, what would Lido do? And it's just like, well, we're gonna sing, we're gonna belt
Right.
something.
Love that.
Yeah.
Like in our heads, we were like, when we needed to draw influence, it was like, what would Jack Garrett do?
Yeah.
Oh, I do that a
yeah.
lot. I
1975
definitely
too.
do that a lot. Or like, what would
know.
Taylor do?
Or what would Max do?
What would
Yeah.
Max
Oh,
do?
yeah.
That was one
What
that we
would
had.
Shellback
What
do?
did Max do?
Yeah.
Back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
true.
would-
But I feel
Right
like the
person
last
do?
couple of months has been like, what would we
Yeah.
do?
What would
like
no?
the last couple
What would
months have
Imogen
been, like-
Heap do?
Oh, I
Oh,
mean, yeah,
true.
That's-
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest ones. I'm like, what would she do here?
But it's like trying
Not
to
what
like
I'm doing.
influence yourself. Like we've done enough stuff, and you guys have done enough stuff where you could look back and be like, well, that worked for that.
Yeah.
How I could use those ideas and bring it to this sort of new place, or incorporate fiddle or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been listening to a lot of sort of like Maggie Rogers and like lots of Greg Kirsten stuff as
Oh,
well
yeah.
lately.
Yeah.
And like I think
Oh,
more
yeah.
so me especially, I've like been trying to incorporate as much real like
Organic.
sort of instruments in as possible, like trying to record as much percussion like just with a mic.
Even if
And,
it's
like-
like keys on a table.
Yeah,
Like
and,
I
like-
know that's
Yeah.
like so basic. And like that can sound so basic. Like if I was listening to this podcast in one way, I'd be like, yeah, everyone does that, hits the glass.
Yeah.
But like like
yeah.
but it's not just that. It's the sort of like you can hear something in your head. You're like, I know this key scraping on this weird chair is the sound I want, and like knowing that you're like it's that I guess like after looking through so many Splice samples as well, it's sort
Yeah.
of, you get
Splice did that
so
for me.
tired of
Yeah.
it, and you're just like, just know what the noise is going to be. I'll just make this weird one, and nobody else will have it.
Well, on the other side, there's like
Nicky.
lyrical minutia. It's like how much like detail, keeps the universal story, but still makes it unique to you.
Yes.
And like having the rhymes be fresh, but not forced and not strange. And why would this word, like if these two words work, why would one work better than the other? And it does depend on how I sing it. Does it depend on,
Yeah.
there's all these, on both sides. And that's why it's cool that, you guys have a somewhat similar dynamic to like what we have is like, there's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of give and take about, and feedback sort of that can
Yeah,
happen
yeah.
between you guys.
Yeah, that's like, especially in sort of lyric mode, it's so good to just be able to like bounce ideas back and forth, because say like you could say a line and then I'd be like, oh, what if you link that up with like this random metaphor in the second half of that verse and like whatever.
Yeah,
Just like
it's just like having two trains running through
Yeah.
your mind, and then sometimes they just cross paths, and you're like, boom, that's the one.
yeah,
So,
it just develops so quick, and
yeah.
then like you sort of
But then also you're
learn all
sitting there
these
and you're
new
like, why are we
techniques.
overthinking this? Like, if this is how I would say it. And then we're like, true. Like the last day putting gravy into.
Yeah.
We put gravy into a song. Does that make
Gravy.
sense?
Yeah.
At the time it was like, yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't
Yeah.
have done that on my own. Sometimes it just gives you more balls
you
as
need
well
a
to be with
boost
other people.
sometimes to
Yeah.
just be like, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get intimidated by concepts. Like I sometimes prefer to not have a concept and just write than like come up with a good concept and then just be like, oh fuck, like I have to make this. If it's a good concept, I have to make it good.
Yeah, you have to do it justice.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of
Yeah.
pressure
There's
there.
the
When you know the
pressure.
concept is good, there's so much pressure to get it right. And then you're just like, yeah, well, that pre-chorus technically works, but I know it could be better. And
But it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
right under the concept.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
on, like right in that lyrical pocket.
What was the hardest song to write on Halfway?
God, probably.
That was so long ago.
Yeah, see,
There
a lot
was-
of that, like when we were doing that, a lot of the like most of the songs I had just done, and I just brought them to Sean then, and then we then Sean and I produced it together. So that was quite different.
Shooting was actually
Shooting was
really
actually
difficult.
really hard.
That was like
I hate that song now. I know you're not supposed to say that, but oh man. Oh no.
Shooting was like a really strange one that we had just finished it, I think, right before it was.
I had just
it was
written it with my
2 days
friend.
it was 2 days before I was going to leave to go on a J1 to New York.
Oh, okay, yeah. And
And-
we said, we have to finish it before you go.
Yeah.
Quick, let's do it. Which in one way was good because it forced us to hurry up and finish it, and it became the nice minimal track for the EP.
Yeah.
But
I always like the melodies. The melody is like the ooh, like that's really pretty, and like and the lyrics were really fresh.
oh,
I
thank you.
thought.
Yeah,
I
I,
really
wrote
do
that. I
like
wrote
the
that with my
melody.
friend Quiva Byrne, and when I went to her house, she has this beautiful grand piano and this lovely, nice, tall ceiling room. So everything was just really nice. And then she came out with that little piano loop, and then she started kind of singing out some lyrics we actually already had, and then we started mixing them around and changing some melodies and stuff, and it just kind of came together really quickly. But a lot, like that pretty melody, that was all her. She's incredible. So yeah, so then bringing it then to you, Sean, we were just kind of like, let's just do this
The melody in
that chorus.
with melody.
Yeah, oh yeah, super nice, because she would have had far more pop sensibilities than I would have at the time, I think. So that was a really nice little learning curve too.
But there is also that like really Celtic vibe from it, like
There is, yeah, definitely, because I played the fiddle melodies in that sense. Like for me, it was not weird to move from a B to a B flat in the same bar. Like that was just like normal. Not that I did that in a lot of the songs, but it was a lot, like a bit of that,
yeah.
and a lot of that singing, I guess, is kind of like would reference Shanos, which is a
So
cappella,
Shanos, yeah.
a cappella Irish songs. So people would be singing songs in Irish, and yeah.
I'm not gonna sing it again because I sound terrible and hoarse. But like, yeah,
No.
that melody is almost like haunting, you know.
Yeah,
It is, yeah, it's nice.
yeah.
It's really good.
That was a challenge
I would say that was the most difficult one.
off that E EP.
Because you took ages, but that was just like good crack. We were just having
That was just
we
down
were
to
just
the
having fun.
synths.
Like,
That was and that was down to BVs and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But with the new EP, like, it's so funny to compare them. I feel like
Yeah.
I haven't even listened to halfway in such a long time
Same,
because I
like.
don't want to be like, oh no, because
Yeah.
I hate that though. Because when a good friend said to me before, she said, once you make music and you put it out there, it's not really for you anymore.
Yeah,
You've made
definitely
it.
not.
You've
Yeah,
done your
yeah.
part. That's not for you anymore. So I try and just keep that mentality, but it is definitely sort of
What's next?
yeah. There's always
Well,
that.
and it's hard not to be like embarrassed of early stuff, but like what I mean to say is that I'm embarrassed of like a lot of stuff about our first record, from like, you know, certain writing ideas or certain things that I thought was really cool at the time. But with that said, like, I know that there are people who have a relationship with that record in the same way that if
Yeah.
you guys took Halfway Down tomorrow, I'd be very upset, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, it's not about me anymore. And it's also me as a 22-year-old looking back on that when I made it when I was 18, 19.
Yeah.
Like, of course I'm not going to have the same
Yeah.
perspective. You're not going to have that in
Yeah.
any situation. So you can't compare your now 22-year-old brain or whatever age you
Yeah.
are to that, because it's useless. You don't know that stuff at the time. That's why you make it and you put it out and you move on.
Yeah. Plus, like,
Yeah.
like
And you enjoy it.
shooting, especially, is like lots of people's favorite song.
Yeah.
Like they've like come and
Yeah.
like only in the past few months have said like, oh, that's like actually my favorite song.
Which is, yeah.
Which is so strange because that one was just like sort of written off. For us
Yeah, we
almost,
nearly
like,
almost dismissed it and didn't
Yeah.
give it enough of a.
But
love.
it's funny, yeah.
And in a weird way, like every day somebody's discovering you for the first time. So, you know, you don't get to like have the context of, you know, you don't get to say, hey, this is the
Yeah,
first
Yeah,
thing I did,
exactly.
this, or
yeah,
this was
I
like,
try and remember that.
you know, where we were at that point. They just have that relationship.
Yeah.
I think.
That's
How
so true.
weird is that?
Did
what
you?
the hell? Like,
Yeah, right. Like,
So strange.
now, did you guys do Rich?
Oh my God, I forgot about Rich.
together?
I
you
mixed Rich.
and I'm so that was
It totally-
that was a mess.
Yeah,
on my
you guys
behalf.
hit me up to mix Rich. That was a.
I'm just
You know,
gonna-
it was kind of a mess on my behalf too, but I really enjoyed that process.
that was really fun. But I'm just gonna say,
Yeah.
so sorry for that. That was just like
oh my
such a
God.
mess. Like, but
No.
like it turned out well.
Yeah, I think it turned out well. I definitely learned a lot.
It was right when we moved to Los Angeles, so I was like out. We lived about an hour from Hollywood when there was traffic, so I'd be out most nights. And Noah was 20 and I was
Right.
21,
Yeah.
so I would go out to clubs and meet people and everything like that. And Noah would be working on projects,
Yeah.
so I would come home and I'm like, I think I hear Alicia through the door, but I'm not sure.
She's here.
She's here in spirit.
You're with us in spirit, yeah.
Yeah, we were always.
guy.
Yeah.
And there have been times when like I've said to people like, does it bother you? And then like the song is in my head for like
Really?
you know, the rest of the day. So you guys are definitely seeped into our brains. But I remember last time we hung out in New York, we were driving. I was driving my dad's Prius, and you guys were like,
that was lovely.
"Hey, we have this new song. I think it might be the single. I want to show you." And you guys play it again, and I'm like, "This is awesome. This is absolute fire." And
That's still my favorite song.
I'm very happy that like the world has recognized that. Like the original has 500,000 or somewhere in that ballpark. The acoustic version is about to break 2 million streams, right? Like
Tomorrow,
I think it'll probably hit it tomorrow. Yeah, so strange. Madness.
Yeah. What?
Because that's what it really sounded like when I had just written it. Like, if I showed you the original demo now, it would be pretty much the exact same, except just like not very well recorded on my behalf.
Well, that's probably what resonates with people.
Yeah.
I mean, your voice, like when you know, it is so raw that like it works in the pop space, like in the way that powerhouse voices do.
I know where this will end. You let me bleed and tell all your friends.
But also when you strip everything back, you get to hear all that other stuff.
I won't let you again. Let you again. Let you again.
And I think that both have like a strength in what you guys are doing.
Ah, thanks. Yeah, it's so funny. If you saw me recording vocals, you'd be like, that girl hates herself. I can have
So sad
some
sometimes.
days. Oh, thanks, Sean. No, some days I just beat myself up, and I'm like, no, I'm done. My throat is sore, and then I'll come back 10 minutes later. And I'm like, I have it, and then it's all good.
I
But,
need to
like,
do it.
thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, that's cool to hear. But I'm like, obviously, we're all our own worst critic.
Noah's the kind of person who will record, you know, like the same sort of section maybe 60 times, and I'm like, I'm gonna do the whole song in one take, and I hope you like it, and please edit it and everything like that. And then Noah's like, please, can you just record one more time?
Yeah, I know that
yeah.
is me. That is me. But it's just that thing. Like, you just don't want to have to listen back to it and go, God dang, could have done that
Yeah.
better.
Well, I always feel like I get worse with each take. Like I always feel like I get worse with each.
Yeah, there's definitely how would you even describe it? Sort of.
But I know that's not true. I think it's just in my head.
No, I'm with you, because when
That's-
we record with Richie now, who I mentioned earlier, like he just says, just go for it, do 2 more times, we'll come back to it. And I think that's like such good psychology for me. He's like, yeah, we'll come back to it, so I'll just sing it and I won't care too much about it. Later on, I'll listen back to it. I'm like, that's perfect. We don't need to change it. He's
yeah.
like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always.
It's the Bob Ross approach of just like letting it go.
Yeah,
You know, you just like you do
definitely.
it, you let it go. Yeah.
Ah,
That's just a happy little
Bob.
tree.
Yeah.
Just have your little tree. Make big decisions and let them go.
Ain't no
I think I've said
mistakes.
that quote on the show more than anything.
Really?
else.
It's a great quote.
That is a great
I
quote.
love Bob
Happy
Ross.
We can
little
all learn
accidents.
something from Bob Ross.
Oh,
Everyone can.
What was the process for writing again? Like what was it? What inspired it? And you know, how was the sort of co-writing and production process as well?
So I actually had pretty much the whole song written on piano on my own. I think I wrote it maybe March of 2018. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. Or maybe February, around that time. And then I hadn't a bridge in it yet. And I showed it to both Sean and Richie, and they said, yeah, it's cool, it's nice. But for some reason, I just had like a little feeling in my belly. I was like, no, there's something about this. I don't know why, but I feel really good about this. And it just all like came, like, I think within 20 minutes I had it written. And I know, you know, when people say that in interviews, and like, oh, in just like 20 minutes I had it written. I'm like, that never happens. But it was that time that it did happen.
Well, you spend 10 years writing music, so you can have a good song in 20 minutes. You know, it's like
Yeah, no, exactly. Maggie Rogers explained that really well, actually, in a Song Exploder episode, where she sort of said, I had writer's block for like 3 years or something, and then she went to Alaska in like 2 years before she even wrote Alaska, and then she just sat down one day, and all of a sudden the lyrics started pouring out of her, and she thought, oh, like, why couldn't I have just done this? But she said, no, I've spent like 3 years actually writing this song. It just took me that long to get here and write it down on a piece of paper today.
Yeah.
So I do think it was something like that too. And then I guess when we went to go to produce it, for me the song was quite hard to listen to and to sing, because it was very raw. But then the more I listened to it, the more I felt that I was actually being quite defiant, or the lyrics could have been or are quite defiant in themselves, that I said.
Was there a person that was inspiring the sort of like anger and frustration in the song?
There was a lot of talk. This was coming up to the repeal campaign in Ireland, which was to repeal the Eighth Amendment, which basically meant that all women they didn't have any bodily autonomy. So if I was carrying a child, or if any woman was carrying a child, or a person was carrying a child, that child was actually the state's. Or pregnant, whatever way we want to say it. If you were pregnant, that, like, you don't have a say. We weren't allowed to have an abortion, basically. And we were fighting this for years, and so many people were getting, like, drugs that weren't safe to have an or
Like lots of people were going over to like
the UK, you'd have to
and
fly
stuff,
over, and I
yeah.
think it was something crazy, like 20 women a day or people a day, and it was just it was so sad. And then the debate was basically going on for quite a while, and we were coming up to the vote, and people were just saying nasty things about women, and
there was
I
lots of
hated
like
it.
really graphic posters like everywhere around Ireland that it was like you couldn't escape from it. Basically, it was so difficult to
Yeah,
just
like
be
every
here
corner
and
you turned.
at that time. Like it
Yeah,
was just
everyone
so
was-
hard,
was-
like-
And you're seeing that playing out in the US too.
Yeah.
You're seeing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like
I
you
thought
know,
that was
we're
oh
going
my
back,
God.
we're
Yeah, yeah.
regressing.
Ridiculous, because it took us a while, because of course we had lots of other things to fight, like getting our country back and stuff like that. So there was some things that were like but that was such a long time coming,
Yeah.
and it was weird for me as well, because I was just coming into my 20s. It was the first time that I actually would say, oh, I am a woman,
Yeah.
rather than a girl, or because people still call you a girl. I'm like, I don't really know about that. I got tits, so so it was just one of those things where I didn't realize how much it was affecting me until I sat down to write the song. And then looking back on the lyrics, looking back on in the chorus where it says, "You'll let me bleed and tell all your friends," that was literally like some guys just saying, well, not my fault that you're pregnant, like da 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 da, like go sort it out, I don't care.
Jeez, yeah.
That's a lot of, I mean, not necessarily that lyric was directed exactly towards that kind of a moment, but it would make sense.
But there's a general frustration. Like I know plenty of people who write, about political things or about family situations, but write it through or even industry situations, but write it through the lens of relationships.
Yes.
Because it's just sometimes easier to see things in that space, you know?
Definitely,
It's
yeah,
definitely I guess easier to digest. Yeah.
Well, and the record, I mean, the EP is called Mad. I was about to ask, like, what are you mad about? But there's so much to be
Lots.
mad about.
Oh, well, that was funny. So that was, I went over, Sean and I hadn't met Richie McCourt before. And when I went out to write with him, Sean and I usually write together all the time. But Sean was sick that day. So I went out on my
I was
own.
quite sick. It was
Yeah,
awful.
he was dying on the couch.
Yikes.
And I went out and I met Richie, and we didn't know anything about each other before. And I think within 20 minutes of starting the session, I just looked at him and I was like, I kind of just feel like screaming. Do you mind if I just like go up to the mic and try something? And he's like, okay. And that's when I literally went, and now I'm getting mad. And he was just like, oh, okay. Oh, I have an idea. And then that's when the instrumental
Yeah.
was made, and so many things have changed around that song.
It was a country song.
It wasn't
country
a
song.
country. Sean is convinced it was a country. I'll
country
show
song.
you the demo. I will give you that demo to put in here. It wasn't.
He's just
country.
mad he was sick.
But no,
Not picking their teeth.
it wasn't that.
So
But so I mean,
you
it was.
came back then that night, and I was
I
like,
think I had 5 coffees as well.
yeah, oh yeah.
So that's why
You were
the song
so
is
buzzy,
hilarious.
like-
I was like, let's put this in. And it was just like, Sean was like, wow, I'm so sick. Can you like turn it down to 1 maybe? I was on 100.
No, you were so buzzing. You were like, oh my God, like we wrote such a good song. And I was like, oh, can I hear? And I was like, that's a country song, Leisha. I was like, I don't know if like we're a country. Like,
It
and then-
wasn't. But I mean, it
But
didn't
then-
help that I love Taylor and so does Richie. So I was like,
Your
maybe,
outlet,
Maybe,
like-
yeah. I was like, thank
I
God.
think I messaged you when the song came out because all of yours, like when you sing, you've got the vibe, like it's very cool, like collected, angry or biting or intense or sad. But this song specifically, when you said "Now I'm getting mad," like I heard like the you that I hang out with, like that
Oh,
line.
amazing.
That's class.
I think I messaged you
Yeah.
both about it. That like I heard the song. I'm like, oh, I miss you guys.
Oh, that's so cute.
I remember that message.
Yeah, that is interesting as well because I'm very bubbly and hyper all the time. Like I squeak a lot, but it was so weird that in all the early songs that wasn't showing through. And then I think it was somebody in the industry, and you could have taken this as a blow, but I took it as like I just took it on board as a very helpful comment where somebody said, in the songs that we perform live, this was a couple of years ago, it doesn't really match how Laoise interacts then with the crowd because she's quite bubbly, and there was a disconnect there for me. And not that I like, that's okay. I understand that like they had a disconnect, and I didn't worry too much about the fact that like I wasn't going, oh my God, we don't match up. It doesn't make sense, because there's some people they liked that. But then I just kind of looked at myself and I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm not really writing songs that are completely giving me that outlet on stage or that sort of that buzz that I feel most of the time anyway around friends when I'm buzzing off someone else. So then that's, I guess, for me in one way, the EP, this new EP kind of feels like a debut again.
Yeah,
like I nearly shed loads of skin that I had been carrying around for so long because I thought, is that whole thing as well, like if you're not like sad and you're not writing good songs, there was that sort of thing as well. You have to be sort of crippled. But then I was like, no, what, I'm gonna write very happy fun songs.
You don't have
'cause
to
I
be
am.
like that tortured genius like
hate
mentality
that.
is
I
so
hate it.
unhealthy.
No.
I think.
So yeah.
I think we were also listening a lot more to pop music then.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
sort of, in me especially, like I never really listened to like pop music there. I was like always the like, oh, that's like not cool enough for me, or like, but like not actually saying that, but you know.
Yeah, it was,
But then I was
again,
like,
the thing.
oh, like this is actually a tune. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
I was like,
I could
yeah,
like get
duh.
into this.
I
like,
mean, you're not completely on board with "Call Me Maybe," Carly Rae Jepsen.
no, still,
but that's
like,
okay.
I don't get that still.
Yeah, that song's a jam.
It is
but
a
like,
jam.
That song's an eternal jam.
Yeah,
I'll
everybody
fight you on
gotta
that. I'll
get
fight
there,
anyone.
yeah.
I
on
don't
that.
understand that. I just like that still to me is Friday. Like,
It's no.
That's where you're drawing the line, is Call Me Maybe.
Call Me Maybe is Friday to me. Like,
By Rebecca Black?
Like, yeah.
No, absolutely
they're
not.
on par. Do you get that?
Although honestly, Friday by Rebecca Black is also a jam. So I'll
That
fight you
is
on
a
that.
jam.
Like, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's
Take
okay.
it,
You're
guys.
entitled to your
Yeah.
opinion, but it's wrong.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting about like the persona that we're sort of talking about is, you know, we met Seán first. We like met him as a person outside of this music thing first. So we knew the secret that Seán's a teddy bear. Like we learned that from the jump. But when he introduced you, which by the way, like it took me roughly 6 months to just message Seán and be like, okay, on the down low, is it Loisy? Like, how do we do this?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That's fair.
You know, and you
That's
like
fair.
you
It's-
phonetically spelled it out like it's at Lee Sha, like, you know, given.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. I hate having to write it phonetically in English because there's no vowel to like get the perfect ending on it, because it's more like Laoise. So it's nearly like IH AH ending, but amalgamated. Does that make sense? So it's like Laoise.
Oh, now everybody's getting acquainted with the letter H.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but like
Uh,
there's, you know, Seán when it's SEAN or father on the A, people don't struggle with that, and then they get so confused to the S in the middle of my name, and I'm like,
Yeah, with Leisha.
yeah, it's funny, but I get it. It makes sense. It's a different language.
I was telling you last time we were on the phone that how you guys call A&Rs sounds like they're a little confused because it's not A&R, it's
A&R.
A and or
so it's like A and or what?
A/or.
A and or B. Yeah.
It literally is that. Yeah. Or mine's definitely worse than Sean sometimes as well, which is gas.
Look at you bringing out the goal.
I'm worrying.
Look at
I literally just thought about how
mine
I was
gets worse
speaking.
sometimes as well.
Oh, I hate that. My accent's all over the shop.
Oh yeah, you can't become self-aware. Don't become self-aware. No, but when Seán was showing us like the stuff when we first met 3 years ago, you know, the first time I think I saw you was in the Halfway video, and you know, you're very intense, very minimal, very sturdy in that video. And then we meet in the city, and I'm nervous to meet you when we go into the city because I'm like, I'm a mess. I'm all over the place. I'm 23 and crazy, or however old I was at that point, and you're bubbly and a mess, and you know, 21 year younger than me and crazy, and it was like, oh yeah, we're all the same, and it's cool to sort of see that side of you come out in the new music.
Oh, Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's
That was fun.
that was fun. I sort of just felt like, you know what, honestly, I didn't have the best of time in school. Didn't have the absolute worst, but there were times where I would be on like 100 going in some mornings, and people would just be like, oh God, like, why are you just so hyper? Why are you like this? And like, I get it. Like, nobody likes school, and nobody's there to have a good time. But sometimes I would just be hyper, you know, a bit manic, and people just didn't like that. And then I started sort of to retreat, and I guess I thought, no, you, like, me being that way is annoying, and people aren't gonna like it. And then I had that sort of click where I just went, oh my God, but I like it. I don't care. And then that's when I lost it. You know, that's like, I felt like with new music nowadays, I just feel like I've opened up my box of Crayola and I'm allowed to use all the colors now. You know, it's just kind of letting yourself go. So yeah, I think there was a bit of that.
I think it's challenging to be a lot. Like, I think, you know, I would deal with being sad or being tired or being frustrated with a somewhat of an intense mania, or just talking incessantly. I would deal with, are you nervous? Talk. Are you tired? Talk until you're not tired. Are you like, but I always sort of like have this fear that that's going to be the thing that like undoes everything. Like, I'm going to talk and I'm going to gain so much and lose so much. And, you know, on the one side, you know, between like podcasting and songwriting, I feel at least angling a thing that I feel insecure about into something useful. But on the other hand, I also feel like part of growing up is realizing, well, if you lose the thing because of the thing that makes you, then it wasn't worth having to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. I'm a quiet-ish person. Like when I'm like, that's so it's sort of funny, like to.
It's like the opposite of the pH scale.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
it's
the
really
acid.
funny
You're the booing. What's booing in English?
Don't know.
The
basic,
other side,
like,
basic. Yeah. See, this is what happens. Me, science, don't have the words in English.
You learned all of your fundamental like school stuff
just in Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we sort of balance each other out in that sense too. But
yeah.
But it's not that like I would be like, oh my God, be louder, and you wouldn't be like,
definitely
hey,
not,
be
like,
quieter. So it's that kind of nice balance.
Yeah, we're just able to be what we want to be. Like.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were having this week like talks about, you know, just making sure that we like I'll fill whatever space I'm given. So like having the conversation about communicating when there needs to be more, you know, balance or more
Right.
things, because I feel like left to my own devices, I'm just going to go off in a manic streak of whatever.
Yeah, and like, I feel like left to my own devices, I'll just shrink into a corner and like do whatever and just like be in
Same.
a hole. But
Yeah.
like, I think
Yeah. Like absolutely. Myself and Nate, we're the same. And then Noah and Sean, you're definitely more on par. Wait, what are your star signs?
I'm an Aquarius.
I'm a Sagittarius.
I'm an Aquarius.
I'm a Leo.
What? Wait, when's your birthday?
The 20th of
You're a mix,
January.
though.
Oh, I'm the
You're on the
25th.
cusp.
Oh, so you're full on an Aquarius. I was born, I'm on the cusp, so I'm like technically semi Capricorn too, but I'm not. I mean, I am and I'm not. I don't know.
Hey, you guys would fit in really well in Los Angeles, because we don't buy into that stuff, but everybody here is like, so what's your sign?
I do
What's
and
your
I
sign?"
don't.
Are you guys ready for lightning round questions?
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, lightning is a bit of a strong word, but
It's more like thunder, rolling
Yeah.
thunder. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, don't feel pressed to answer as quickly as possible.
Okay.
But you know, first of all, what are y'all's phone backgrounds?
I have an incredible one. Mine
sorry.
is Marina and the Diamonds, a tweet that she put out probably maybe 3 months ago now. And it says, being unashamed is a weapon. Once you realize shaming is just a tactic, it totally loses its power.
Ooh.
That's great.
That's
So
good.
I need that in my life. Yeah.
Mine, on a lighter note, my mom was gonna hate me for this. But
poor Mama Helen.
I'm just gonna show it to you. I just I just recorded my mom as close
Oh
as
my
possible.
god.
To her face.
Just like to see how uncomfortable she would get. She got really uncomfortable, and she's been my screensaver
Straight
for
face.
over a year now.
There's something very endearing about
but
that.
it makes you
Yeah, for
smile every
sure.
time.
There's also something terrifying
It's
about
very
like your
sweet.
mom
It's
survey,
very
like watching you at any moment.
I don't get that.
No,
She's
not at
she's
all.
chill.
No,
She's chill.
she's so chill.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
I got a Jewish mom, so like even a photo, I'm like, are you watching?
Oh my god!
No, you're making me paranoid.
Oh
Now
my
I feel
god!
like I should
No,
change
she's
you.
not.
Yeah.
She's snoozing. It's all good.
What are you guys' non-musical hobbies?
I like knitting. I'm really bad at it, but I'm starting to get back into it now. I was obsessed with it when I was younger, so I'm making a tea cozy.
Make it a scarf.
I love swimming, but like I don't go swimming that often. But like when I'm on the west coast of Ireland, I just love going
Turns
into the
into
water.
a fish.
I love it so much. I also love just being around my dog Dusty.
Dusty's
Yeah,
incredible.
that's
We
def-
love
I would
bringing her
like-
to the park.
I would call that a hobby.
That is a
how
hobby.
much I love her. Like she is a hobby now. Like
Do y'all have any skills that you would like to have?
Like, definitely, like, not eating as much chocolate. That's a skill I'd love to have.
That is, yeah. I mean, that's
a general self-control.
On a serious
yeah.
note, though,
I
self-control.
I would really like to be good at pottery. I've like recently, just because like I watch Bob Ross a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know you guys like Bob Ross, but like I watch Bob Ross to like fall asleep. But when I was in New York as well, I like got into just like watching pottery to fall asleep. And it's so relaxing. And
is.
I've wanted to do it for
Watching clay dry.
absolutely not watching it
It's
dry.
on the wheel. When
Watching
it's on
it
the
like
wheel.
be molded. Come on, guys.
no, yeah. On the wheel, that's
Yeah,
some good
yeah.
stuff.
On
I
the
know you,
hot-
I
on the
know
hot
you said
spot.
pottery, but what I first heard was pyroing, and I'm just like, you just want to set shit on fire.
Oh my God.
Yikes. Yeah.
I want to get into pyroing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm
Yeah,
a
I don't.
pyro.
Oh God. There's definitely something that I'm going to think about later and be like, that's what I wanted to be able to say. But I guess I'm kind of happy just trying to be a really good songwriter. Like I really just want to get there. That's kind of,
definitely.
I'm trying to get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's,
It's pretty much all we do.
yeah.
Like we don't really do anything other
You know, it's
than
like
music.
skill you want to have. Like I write good songs, I want to write great songs. You know,
Yeah.
like, that's the skill I want.
Yeah.
Right,
me
right.
too. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So working towards that. I guess making clothes would be a really good one. Then I wouldn't have to go and buy them.
I want a Alicia scarf.
Okay.
Scarf?
Oh,
Handmade scarves.
Oh,
They're-
okay. I'll knit you one. That could be merch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love
Neve,
it.
there you
I
go.
will throw money
Okay.
across the pond.
Across
Sweet.
the pond. Just throw it and I'll catch
I'll
it.
catch it. Yeah.
I'll catch it 5 hours later.
I do have a good catch.
I'll send it on a boat.
Paper airplane, $20 bill. Just
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be so cute though.
Here, will you bring that over for me? Will you give her that money?
That's Sean doing a lovely Dublin accent.
You're welcome.
Which fictional universe would you guys want to live in?
Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
oh, that was
A
easy.
classic.
No, yeah.
Easy. No brainer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
This is a fun question. What is your superpower? Like what? Like you as a human
Flying.
being? What would you say your superpower is in this world?
Oh.
Sean, flying.
Sean can actually
Jump really
fly.
high.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I'm
Eating chocolate endlessly.
God, my self belief right now is pretty low.
I feel like maybe I'm a chameleon or something.
Just blend right into
Yeah,
the
I can
background.
just like
Blend
be
in with
there
the
if I
wall.
want to be, but also I can just like
Zoom,
chill out if
zoom
I want to.
Yeah,
You know,
at a,
people don't
like
really
at a
notice it's
party.
fun.
Is that
Yeah.
what you sort of mean? Like at a party when you're sort of just
I'll just like
like people are like,
Just
where'd
like-
Sean go?
yeah.
That happened. Actually, do you know what? You are.
Our Shag's it.
That happens all the time. People are like, where did Sean go? He was right here, and I'm like, he's the plant right now.
yeah. Oh, there he
so
is.
true.
What a beautiful
Oh my
tulip.
God. Oh my God. I think my superpower is sort of just voices. I'm pretty good at mimicking people.
Oh, can you
Oh,
give
yeah.
me something?
So,
What,
yeah.
who could you mimic? Can you mimic me?
It's not so much. Sorry, characters is more so what I mean. So like Emma loves Big Bird, like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean, what would you say is the greatest hits? Like, can we get a couple? Like,
God.
Do
What else do I do?
Simon.
God.
Do a bit of Simon.
Stop. No, I don't do Simon. I do Theodore.
do
I do. So
Theodore.
sometimes I do voice acting on the side, which is great crack because I just like using my voice a lot.
that's awesome. I want to do that.
But yeah, I do Alvin and the Chipmunks in Irish. It's so much fun. But like I don't know, he's just cute. He's just like, okay. Like it's not like he doesn't say much. He's like, do you want to go watch TV? Like it's not, he's just cute. That's it. Yeah.
All right. This next question. Think very carefully before answering.
This is a very important question.
Very important
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Would you be a pirate?
No.
No.
I don't like to steal.
I don't like I wouldn't want to be on a boat with people and not be able to leave.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are like, ooh, let's go on a cruise. I'm like,
Oh no. Give me
know.
that. Give me that.
like I suppose
But-
you're gonna stop off at a place, but
And I also
Yeah.
like use of both my eyes.
Yeah. I don't want.
I
Yeah.
don't like the whole patch thing.
But you could have a parrot and sword fight. I'm losing this.
They do that because they've lost their eye, Sean. Actually, side note, parrot was the first character. A pirate parrot was the first character I did in voiceovers.
Can you do the voice?
It was just like around that kind of a noise. It was just like, no, that's not good. It was just like that. I don't know. Oh man.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
First tattoo. Do you have any tattoos? What is your first tattoo? And if not, what would your first tattoo be?
I have 6 as of like last week.
You got all 6 last week?
Yeah, I got them all last week in one go. The first one I got was a small anchor on my wrist, which my sister also has because it's just the two of us. And my most recent one, so this is kind of going to answer Sean's question for him, is I have a small smiley face on the inside of my finger that Sean actually did for me last week at a festival. Because he has no tattoos. But that was his first time seeing a tattoo gun, was when it was in his hand, putting a mark on me forever. Yeah.
But it's a smiley face. Yeah.
It's a smiley
happy.
face. It's cute. Yeah. It was just a moment of like, hey, you want to put a tattoo?
That's trust.
Yeah, always.
I haven't got any tattoos, as Leisha said there, but I have been like sort of thinking about getting a tattoo of Dusty, my dog, recently. I've only been talking about Dusty. Like, how weird is
This whole
this?
podcast, yeah, it's great.
But
yeah.
you like dogs, right?
Yeah, we're
But,
good.
I
like,
actually hate dogs.
I'm definitely not a tattoo-y type person as of now.
Yet.
Yeah.
Wait till you get the first.
But I can see myself with a Dusty tattoo.
Yeah. Oh, I think that would be so cute.
I can see you with a Dusty
Yeah.
tattoo. I want that for you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. I'm
we
gonna
want
do
that
it.
for you.
Okay,
do it.
I'll do it.
Yes,
I'll do it.
Sean.
I'm gonna do
Yes, Sean.
Here I go. Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
What was the first concert you went to?
I went to see Snow Patrol. That's actually it's really strange that that's my first gig because I didn't really know them, but I got free tickets from my cousin and me and my brother went.
That's a really
And it was good. But like
First-
that year,
first
then I
concert.
just went to I literally went to gigs every week. Then I was like, oh my god, whoa, live music.
Live music.
Whoa,
What is this?
give me,
Yeah,
like-
that's good.
Yeah.
I had been to a lot of little ones before because of my parents and stuff, but like the first one that I really decided to go to was Taylor Swift.
Nice.
I mean, of
That's
course,
such a good
that
first
that,
one. Yeah.
that I'm not surprised about for you.
No, well, how could you be?
All right, we're on to the favorite rounds.
Yeah. All right. What is your favorite color to wear?
Oh, red.
I'm having a good white moment right now. Love a bit of white.
What is y'all's favorite holiday?
So this one has it changes every year, I think, twice. I love winter when I'm in winter, but I also love summer when I'm in
Sean
summer.
just loves
I know,
life, you
I
know?
Like every single time, okay, like summer is definitely my favorite season, but I'm in summer. Then I'm like, it comes to winter, I'm like, oh, I love snow. Yeah.
Wait, holiday though?
Holiday though, Sean.
What do you, they call it?
No.
summer holiday,
So we
Summer is
Yeah,
not a holiday.
Oh,
Sean.
summer is a holiday.
That's
we
a
usually
season.
wouldn't say like a holiday in Ireland, so maybe that's why you got confused.
Well, we had summer holidays.
We say we say summer holidays rather than summer vacation.
Yeah, I mean that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's.
No, I
it's
mean like
skewed in that
Christmas, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving. What do you call those?
sense. To be honest, I don't really care about holidays.
Interesting.
We really only have Christmas. That's the only proper thing
and
that
I
we
go
have.
to, I used to go to Spain for that, so that didn't even feel like Christmas to me, which I loved. There's like some weird pressure. It feels so like buy this, and I'm like I don't want to.
I mean that's what holidays are in America. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it's the same here.
Not
yeah,
into
but
that, really.
I mean, no, I do love. I think Halloween is the funnest when you're in college because it's just like, hey, everyone, come to my house and dress up really obnoxiously. We don't have a lot of money. I know all of you are going to come up dressed up as a bin bag. Great. You know, that's fun. Like, that's just very innocent.
Yeah, did your friends dress up as a did you say a bean bag?
A bin bag.
bin bag.
Wait, it's a bin bag.
As in, like,
Trash
like,
bag, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
garbage bag, the black ones.
Oh, nice. Okay, wait.
like a black
As in,
sack.
like, that's how we used to do costumes. We also don't say costumes. What do we say?
You're just like, hi, I'm trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like no,
Hey, I'm a bin.
no. It would be a thing where people would just like kids, like, and we didn't have most of the things that you would have had like trick or treating back in the day. Like we wouldn't have proper like witch costumes or anything like that. It was literally like kids pop on this black bin bag. We'll cut some holes in it to stick out your arms, and we'll put a bit of white and black face paint on you. Off you go.
Did I hear recently that trick or treating is Irish.
Irish.
Huh.
That like originated in Ireland,
Yes,
apparently.
that is the thing.
Wait, can I ask a random
You can
question? Because
fact
we were with your friend Sam last night, and we realized that maybe we have our wires crossed. But in the U.S., when you leave a party and you don't say goodbye to anybody, it's called an Irish exit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Sean mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
scoot out.
Is that a thing? Because Sam had never heard of it.
I had never heard of it until I was in America. So
yeah, we don't do it.
yeah. See, maybe because everybody just does it, it's like
It's like a
not spoken about because everybody's trying to keep it on DL.
oh
Like,
like the Irish exit.
It's just an exit for you guys, but it's an Irish exit for us.
Exactly.
That would make a lot of sense. We have heard of that. There are sometimes when I'm just gonna say bye to one person and then leave so I can tell everyone else.
I like saying bye to everybody.
I like saying bye to everyone now
Yeah.
because I love just being like bye and getting hugs. Like we love hugging.
Well, the Jewish exit is saying goodbye to everybody twice, even people you never
Oh,
met.
really?
Oh, do you know what's? Do you know why it's an Irish exit? Because we're so bad. That's very similar to us, where we'll say, "Okay, bye, I'm off now," and then the other person will say, "So what are you doing today?" And the whole conversation just keeps going,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's such a thing
It's
where you're."
impossible to say bye to everybody
It's so
twice.
hard to say bye to people, especially because you could be I remember when I was younger, if I was saying, "Oh, are we going to leave now when we're at a party or we're somewhere?" They'd say, "Yeah, we're going to say bye now in the next 2 minutes." Then I would think,
Just now.
yeah,
Right now.
just right now. And then I would think, okay, cool. It's been in the next 2 minutes we'll be in the car. It's 30 minutes later because people just stand there with their car keys in their hand, with their jacket on, getting way too hot inside, just because the conversation has continued on. I don't know why we do that. This generation doesn't.
Well, there have been times where I'm like, yeah, no, we're heading out the door, and then
Yeah.
an hour and a half will pass, and it's like, I thought we were leaving. I'm
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It's so confusing.
Yeah.
This
But-
is the leading.
yes.
This is the
Maybe
process,
that's
the
why.
long, arduous process
Yeah.
of leaving a thing. I feel that. I'm also always the last to leave a party because I just hate.
Yeah,
I
we're
just wanna-
just slowly
Bye, guys.
backing
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. Do like a Homer
It's
Simpson.
just like
Or the terrible FOMO fear of you leave and then the thing that made that party incredible happens 5 minutes after you go. It's like, oh, did you hear the party right after you left? So and so.
We don't get that.
We don't
Yeah.
get
So-and-so,
we don't go
fell off a
to
table.
a lot of parties actually. We're not very good at going out. So I do have this instinct in me though from before. From the handful of parties that I have been to, I do know when it's about to go sour. That moment where you're like, oh, there's the one person that's about to get too drunk, and you're like, now is my time to leave because everyone's gonna follow and it's gonna get messy. So you're gonna leave it, nip it in the bud when it's good, leave.
Let's
out.
go.
I have a good instinct for that. And so my night's still amazing. And then it's later on oh, did you hear when this happened? And it's something awful. And I wasn't there.
I'm not mad on going out in general
Yeah,
for
we
some
like to
reason.
watch movies a lot.
I'm just not much of a go outer.
Or Love Island.
Yeah.
Love Island.
That's fair.
Do you guys have a favorite sound? Nice.
Yeah.
That sound? There's a word for that
Yeah,
sound.
or-
It's poplismic.
It's what?
Oh,
The word is poplismic. It's the sound that your lips make when you smack them.
Thank you for
Smack
that.
'em.
Did you know the smell on the ground outside when rain hits it after it's been dry for quite a while is called petrichor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I knew you would.
I think we both have songs we wrote when we were 15 called Petrichor.
Actually,
No
I think
way.
we all do. I think it's
Everybody
just
has
one of those
one, yeah.
things that we all end up doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know what my favorite sound is. It's my bottle. It makes a lovely little squeak every time I open it. Yeah.
Your water
It
bottle?
tells me that I'm going to be hydrated.
Interesting.
I was like, what are you going to get? Oh, dear God. What did I put up with?
I've actually got a bit of an obsession with this bottle. It's sort of weird. but
When he got it,
I'm
he was
happy.
like, guess how long it stays cold for? Guess how long it
24
stays hot
hours.
for?
12 hours.
Yeah, he was so excited.
That's great.
Oh, my God.
Sean, you're precious, and I hope you never change.
I wish the face you made when you opened that water bottle could be part of the podcast. 'cause
Oh,
it's
just make it the art.
divine.
Just make it the art.
Yeah.
All right, this is this could be a long-winded one. Make this as long or short as you want. Favorite movie, favorite book, and TV show for the both of you.
My favorite movie is Now Is Good with Dakota Fanning. It came out a good few years ago, and a lot of people don't know about it, but that's amazing. There's also a book that goes with it, but I just love Dakota Fanning in that. My favorite book would probably be The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. My favorite TV show, is that what you asked?
Yes.
Grey's Anatomy.
Nice.
I've watched
classic.
every single episode. Like, it's been going for 15 years and I'm 22, so do the maths.
My favorite movie is probably,
Harry Potter.
yeah, I'm just gonna say Harry Potter and The Prisoner of Azkaban for both my favorite movie and book.
That's good.
Then favorite TV show, what would that be? Oh, Father Ted.
Oh, that's a good
That's-
one. Actually, I changed my mind. Can I have
Father
two?
Ted.
Can I have a joint? Can I have a joint TV show? Grey's Anatomy and Dairy Girls.
Ooh,
Everybody
yeah,
go watch Dairy
I've watched
Girls.
a couple episodes of
It's
that.
incredible.
It's very charming.
Do you have to watch it
So
with
good.
Oh,
subtitles?
very much so. I have
It's
no
so
idea what
good.
they're saying.
Do you?
Really?
Oh my god,
Oh,
it's
it's
so
so
much
good.
fun.
I mean, some
It's
of them,
so
some of those
good.
characters are just
What are you
Yeah.
doing, Claire? It's just so good. So,
What do you
so
think
good.
you're doing?
Yeah, what do you think you're doing?
I feel like now when I
Nikki,
finish watching it, I'll feel very. I will miss you guys because it's very.
Yeah.
good.
Yes, yes.
Please watch it and think of us.
Oh,
will.
it's so good.
What's the best date you've been on? I hope this is a joint question. It would be awkward if it wasn't.
We're not in Ireland. Dates are not so much a big thing as they would be with you guys. Like, we kind of would just say like, yeah, we're going out now, which is sort of like you're official. You're not really.
But it's like a nice
Yeah,
thing
but
you guys
just like
did
a
together.
a nice moment that you.
I actually,
Yeah.
I think I have one really nice thing. It was also again in New York, but so basically when I was in New York, I was mixing the Halfway EP, like just on my laptop, and it took like literally the whole like 2 months or 3 months.
because you were just learning so many things.
Yeah, because
at
like
the
it was my
time.
first time like properly doing it, and I was like, we were obviously talking over like Facebook and stuff, so it was really sort of long winded. But
And
Leash-
as in, I was in Ireland at the time.
yeah,
That's
so
what it
so
was,
Leash
yeah.
was back here, like but Leash then came over to New York and like surprised me for a bit, and we like then we like finished the EP, like the mixes of the EP, and then we went out to get sushi.
Yeah,
And
it
it
was
was
so
great.
good. It was, so
good.
good. Sushi in New York is so much better
It
than
was
some
so
places here.
good, and that was like
I have a
probably one of my
Polaroid of that.
favorites. Huh?
I have a Polaroid
Yeah,
of
you
that.
have a Polaroid
I
of that.
do.
And like every time I see it, I'm like, oh, that was such a good day.
Aw,
like I'm
that's
buzzing.
nice.
That was so nice. Yeah.
That was a good date. I liked that one.
Yeah.
I liked when we went to Dumbo.
For the movie,
Yeah. Yeah, I liked that. That's probably my fave.
really.
Yeah, I think that was the first day I was there, and I was just so excited to be 19 and in New York and an Irish girl just
Yeah.
living her
Fair.
life, you know? Yeah, that was a good one. We watched Stuart Little.
I love that. You guys had a city date. That's very cinematic.
Yeah.
Aw. Yeah, we painted that well. Good job. What are we, songwriters?
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Freddie, you just went for a fist bump and you just went for a high five, and that was awesome.
Oh, that's how it
Oh,
works.
that's-
I'm a
yeah.
high five person. He's a fist bump.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we can't bump them off each
Yeah.
other.
No.
And you just meet in the
Oh, that was
middle.
coordinated. That was intentionally.
Oh,
I love that.
That's
I
adorable.
I can't.
We call it. That's
high
called a
five
turkey.
people.
That's called a turkey
It's called a what?
because it looks like a turkey. It's called a turkey because it looks like a turkey.
Does it? It does. Oh, it does. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think I know the answer to this already. What's the best Halloween costume you've done? Is it a bin
Bin
bag?
bag.
Halloween present.
Halloween costume.
Oh, costume.
Costume.
Oh, yeah. Actually, do you know what's so funny about that is? So I went out. I was going to a party
Oh
one
my
night.
God.
This is so funny. I was going to a party, Halloween night. A couple of friends. I arrived. Did not realize that everyone was actually going to dress up, and I love dressing up, but I, for some reason, just didn't think of it. Whatever was wrong with me at the time, but then I said, just give me a bin bag and I'll make a dress out of it. And then we ended up going out and we ended up doing karaoke in front of like tons of strangers. And I did Betty Davis Eyes by Kim Carnes, best song ever. And I was so happy, you know why. And I just kept going around being like, I'm rubbish in between the parts of the songs that you don't need to sing. As in that was my costume. So yeah, that's definitely, I'll live that one down.
Mine, I dressed up as the main guy from Breaking Bad in his like yellow suit, which I know is like a very done Halloween costume.
But
I
he
was
looked
proud
exactly like
of
him.
how well I did it.
Your brother made the costume though, so it doesn't really count. You just
No, but I
borrowed
just
it 2
had,
days
like-
later.
I
Did you have a
like-
mustache?
Yes,
He had
I
the
was-
circle thing.
I was like only 17 or something like that, and I like had a like proper like.
The beard he has now, he grew when I met him at like 16, 17. And
So,
I was
like,
like,
I
who is
think
this man?
I think that's what made it like the most impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I met you, Sean, I thought you were like 26 or
Yeah.
27.
Oh my
Yeah.
And I was
God,
like 21.
same.
And then we found out that you were like
Yeah.
younger than us.
I'm an old soul.
Can you whistle?
Just about.
I can do
Sean's
multiple
really
whistles.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Sean. Sound bank.
Yes.
That's like
We're making a sample pack out of it.
Yeah.
oh my god, I used to be
If we ever do another remix for you, like please know that those whistle
my
sounds
God.
will be a huge part of it.
you're laughing
That's
so
like
much you
such
can't
a-
do it.
a
That was
limp
like
whistle.
that's like when Homer Simpson's trying to oh there we
There
go.
we go.
It's
That's
like when
what- that's
Homer's
what I
trying to
was-
calm Marge down and then he's like, just by the sea. It's a seagull like that. Do you remember that? It's so good. I used to be way better at whistling when I had a gap. I had a gap so big that I could fit my thumb into it. It was insane. But
Like in your teeth?
yeah. So once they took my gap away, I couldn't whistle. That's what I got. Like, oh, and I can't whistle out. I only whistle in.
Yeah, I know some people who can do that, but that's always been weird to me.
Yeah, the other way.
That's weird.
confusing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nah.
What's something you did that you'll never do again?
Oh, probably just like not shave my eyebrows when I was a kid. That's definitely one. But like,
That's
it's a tough question.
that's like also a good one. I used to shave my own hair when I was younger.
You shaved it like with a razor,
Yeah.
as in like a
Like
face razor.
no need. I know it was like a proper hair razor. Like
Oh right,
but
yeah.
one time I like didn't have a second mirror and I was like doing like a big haircut. It was a big one because it was my cousin's wedding the next day. And I gave myself a fucking ball patch. So I wouldn't do that again, I suppose. That was the only time I've ever like messed it up. And it was right before her wedding.
Oh
Like,
my God.
how
You know
shit is
what?
that?
I think what I wouldn't do is stop myself from going swimming or something at the beach because I was worried about how I looked or things just in general. That's what I wouldn't do. Yeah.
Well, that was a big message in like halfway and whatnot. Like,
Yeah, you don't like for me. I guess it was that you don't. You're gonna have to work towards it. It's not just like you can just do it one day. Like you'll meet it halfway and you'll come to terms with it and you'll deal with that then. And so that was kind of it. But yeah, definitely so many days wasted at the beach not having fun because of that. Yeah.
Do either of you have a scar with a story?
I burst my appendix before, and that was like very painful. I also like I fell into a radiator one time. That was also very sore. I almost it's right beside my left eye, and like literally right beside my left eye. It's like I very easily
You
could
could have been a
blind.
pirate.
Maybe that's why I don't want to be a pirate. Yeah.
pirate.
Maybe I like. Yeah.
It's too close. It's
Maybe I
too
saw
soon.
myself in a different life where I actually had to
Maybe
wear a patch. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, I also have another scar that it's like on my arm up here that happened when I was shucking some oysters.
Oh yeah.
I like accidentally like slipped out.
shook
and, like,
myself.
yeah,
Shooketh.
yeah. I'm shook. Yeah. Yeah. But that's
Stab
like
yourself in the arm.
That's a memory.
You're properly shook.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky.
When it happened, were you just like, oh shucks?
Oh,
shucks.
beach. That's good. That's good. Yes. I'm quite lucky in that. Like I've not either lucky ? I don't really know. Like I've not had too many injuries because I just never played sports. I was in Scouts honor. Yeah. But like the only scars I have would be self-harm scars that are now covered with a tattoo, which is cool.
It's something new.
It's a good thing now.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any recurring dreams?
I never get them. I don't understand how people get them. Can I just jump right in? What? How do you have the same dream again? What? My
I
brain
used
is
to get
like,
them.
we need to go here. We need to go here. We need to go here. Like, no time to go back. And I'm like, cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
No, I feel like my brain's like, I'm trying to tell you something. I'm like, nah, I feel like you're trying to talk to me. And it's like, yeah, wait, I am. This is what I'm trying to tell you. And I'm like, I feel like maybe we're trying to have a dialogue.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to tell you something. I'm like, I'm just going to wake up now. It's like, okay, next time. It's like, I'm trying to tell you something. I'm like, I think
Sorry,
you
mood
might
right now,
be
I'm
trying to
sleeping.
tell me something.
I used to have a recurring dream that I would be stuck on like this giant, almost it was like sort of like a sky rise, just like in like Grand Theft Auto where like you're just there on your own and there's all these like empty high rise rooftops, like, and I would just be there and I wouldn't be able to get down anywhere. There was like no doors and I'd just be stuck there
That's so
for
sad.
like a whole dream.
Do you feel trapped in your life? Where if you take a big plunge,
It
that
was
you may
like-
plummet to your death?
It was like way.
When you were
Yes.
younger.
Well,
We're actually analyzing both of you. We're getting a comprehensive psychoanalysis. We're getting all layers of your brain.
Give me all those words.
What's happening to me?
What advice would you give to your teenage selves?
Oh, just stop caring about what other people think. You're literally going to live in this bubble for the next couple of years that is school, and you're never going to see those people again. Just don't mind them. That would be mine.
Yeah, that's like pretty good advice. Like I wouldn't really have any for like my younger teens, but like as I got into my like older sort of teens, like then I definitely would say like a similar thing. Just like it doesn't matter. Just you be you. It's grand.
Yeah.
Like
So much hard. Like, but see, I'm looking at that from a 22-year-old perspective.
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah. And I probably like just sit down with your guitar. Don't worry about it. I kind of did that a lot anyway.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
same. But
Yeah. But I guess just having that little extra voice to be like, it's okay. That
Yeah.
would be one. It really, oh my God. Like, I just wish that I know there's so many people in school, especially struggling. It's just such a thing that you just don't think you're ever going to get out of the bubble. And like you will, and you're going to find your people. Yeah. You're going to
it
find
is
your
your
people.
whole world. Like
You're
It
not
really is.
surrounded by your people yet, and you will be. So just power through.
What advice would you give to new writers, producers, and artists?
Take your time. Don't rush. There's definitely like that thing where you're sort of like, I need to get this out now. And
yeah.
I do feel there are people that don't really consider what they're really trying to get out of their project. They just sort of want to be a part of this sort of, I just released something club. So, yeah, just write down on a piece of paper why you started making music or
Yeah.
why you love it in the first place, and come back to that every now and then to remember and remind yourself. And I think anything you make or do after that is going to be with great intentions and very genuine.
I would probably just say have the crack. Like
Yeah,
literally just have as
It's
much.
fun.
Yeah, like because I definitely like for a while got really down about like say if I couldn't get a song to sound as like polished as I wanted it to be, or like get it sound as poppy as I wanted it to be, or whatever. I was still making good songs then.
What are you most proud of?
I'm like probably most proud of actually some things that like we're working on during the week, during this week. I feel like I was like very much in a like spot for a while where I wasn't happy with anything that I was doing at all. Like leaning back on other people to like help me get like things sounding the way I wanted them or whatever. But like this week I noticed like a couple of times I like came out of sessions and I was really, really buzzing about the song. And like just really happy with like how it was like developing production wise and stuff as well. So like there's a couple of songs this week that I would say I'm like really, really proud of, which is cool.
That is cool. They are good. I think I'm probably most proud that I came out of school from Galway in Ireland with no idea how someone becomes a pop artist, and that I've somehow learnt pretty much like how the industry works, more or less in and out. As an independent artist, have been able to apply that to the project that we do, like while also like developing on my songwriting skills, and being able to reference a lot of art and stuff that I would have loved when I was younger, and then bringing it into the project now, and that I've created, like we both have created this project that's like super indie. It's basically just us, but like people, you know, have loved it as much as maybe they could love a massive other pop artist, and that it's sort of like this very, I feel like I've always loved pop, and I've always loved the top 40. Okay, yeah, I took a moment there for a while when I was in my late teens and I became quite cynical, but yeah, that I've become this pop artist and songwriter that's like taking influence from a lot of other cultures, but still quite Irish in a lot of it, but it's just an Irish version of it. And yeah, I think that I've been able to draw out a lot of my personality and who I am and where
It's
I
been
come
cool
from
to
into my
see
music.
literally from the start, just like how far. Every time I see you guys play festivals too, I get really excited.
Yeah. Oh my God. Festivals have been so much fun this summer,
Yeah.
especially. These new songs are just so fun. And then
Yeah, it's
even
just
new
good
songs
crack,
that we've
like.
written, and just like jumping around on stage is amazing. I
Yeah.
got my big girl shoes
I
on.
feel like this year we've like sort of brought the live stuff to
to where the studio
to where the studio
songs
stuff is,
are.
like,
yeah.
it's really fun to do. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I kind of, it makes you realize why you start.
Yeah.
And what are you most excited for?
I'm really excited to play Lollapalooza in Berlin
Me
in
too.
September.
I was looking at you. I was giving you the eyes like,
Yeah.
are we going to say the same thing? On 3.
I'm so buzzing.
We're not good at saying things on 3, so let's not try and do that.
We've like only recently sort of been like traveling for gigs as well. And this is going to be a fun one because we're like, we've already planned to sort of stay there for a couple days, I think.
I think so.
We
Oh my
haven't
God, yeah,
booked,
we have
booked
to.
the flights yet, but we're just going to like take that one as a festival that we're going to like stay for.
Yeah,
and
be
the
like
acts that are
festival
playing
goers
are amazing.
again. Yes.
So like, that's probably something that I'm looking forward
I'm
to. most.
really looking
Yeah.
forward to that. And I'm really looking forward to life without being like
To
just
life?
no. I said what a
I'm really
dramatic
looking forward
pause.
to life.
No. I'm really looking forward to what life is going to be like without having to be in education. Because my whole life I've been in education.
It's so much better.
I've never done this before.
So much better.
It's just like summer forever.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much you're an adult now.
Yeah.
Literally in Los Angeles, it's summer forever, but it's like, yeah, you
Oh
get
my
to
God.
just decide what you want to do with your day. You wake up,
Yeah.
you
Imagine.
know.
Yeah.
Sun all the
Sun
time.
all the time. Can we
That
please
literally sounds
have
like
some
heaven.
vitamin D deficient
But also,
here?
I was actually thinking only today about how so like whenever it's sunny in Ireland, you like really feel guilty for like if you're like inside working on songs or whatever, just because like you don't get sunny days that
yeah,
often.
It's like you must take this now.
So like I was like literally thinking today, if I was in LA, like I feel like I just wouldn't get anything done because I just want to be outside all
in
the
sun all
time.
the time. Yeah, it's such a
But
it's
maybe
like
not.
such a
Maybe not.
privilege
Maybe
having
not.
sun.
Well, you make it a part of your day. I mean, I feel like, you know, I bike, I walk
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, that's
we
true.
start sessions outside on the balcony, but like by and large, you know, the work gets done when the work
Right.
gets done.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I do feel there's much more energy from the sun. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, hey, I'm excited for you guys to potentially come to Los Angeles at some point. so-
Yes, we will be there.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
No,
No, we have
I think
to.
we should like go soon enough.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we probably will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Hey, we always have a place to crash.
Ah,
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Amazing.
And likewise, if you're ever
Yeah, come to
over
Dublin.
this side, please do. Yeah, there are so many like really good songwriters that like you will get on really well with.
We wanted to visit Ireland for like a minute. We keep sort of teasing that we might, and it just doesn't work out. But like, we definitely want to visit Ireland at some point. No, we love you guys, and we're excited for what's coming next for you. So let's all hang soon.
Oh, well, thank you for having us on your lovely little podcast.
Yeah,
This is
thank
our
you so much.
first, which is
This
really
is- yeah,
exciting.
It's my first time ever doing a podcast.
Yeah, so it's always nice to do first things
Yeah.
with friends.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
I know where this will end. Where this will end. You let me bleed and tell all your friends. But I won't let you again. Let you again. Let you again.
We would like to thank Jägermeister and Isotope for their early support of Talking Lion.